Robert Nivelle, a French military leader during World War I, is a figure whose reputation is steeped in both military success and tragic failure. Known for his leadership in key battles and the development of the Nivelle Offensive, his career ultimately became a subject of significant debate among historians. Some see him as a determined and visionary leader, while others view him as responsible for one of the war's most disastrous campaigns, leading to immense losses and near mutiny in the French army. This video takes an in-depth look at Robert Nivelle's life, his rise through the ranks of the French army, his key contributions to military strategy during the war, and the legacy he left behind. A legacy that is as complex as the man himself. Robert Georges Nivelle was born on October 15, 1856, in Toul, France. Of mixed French and English heritage, he attended prestigious military institutions in France, including the École Polytechnique, where he was trained in artillery. His early military career was characterized by his service in various colonial campaigns, such as the Boxer Rebellion in China and the French campaigns in North Africa, where he demonstrated competence in leadership and artillery tactics. By the time World War I broke out in 1914, Nivelle had established himself as a capable officer, though not yet among the high-ranking figures in the French military hierarchy. As the war progressed, however, his role and reputation grew rapidly, particularly due to his ability to implement innovative artillery strategies. Nivelle's rise to prominence during World War I began with his success at the Battle of Verdun, one of the war's most grueling and critical engagements. After General Philippe Pétain was promoted, Nivelle took command of the French Second Army at Verdun in May 1916. There, he applied new artillery tactics, including the creeping barrage, a tactic where artillery fire was coordinated to fall just ahead of advancing infantry, providing cover while allowing troops to move forward without being exposed to enemy fire. Under Nivelle's command, the French launched counter-offensives at Verdun, recapturing key positions such as Fort Douaumont and Fort Vaux. His success in these operations, combined with his confident and often charismatic demeanor, earned him the admiration of both his peers and political leaders in France. By the end of 1916, Nivelle's reputation as a capable and innovative commander had grown to such an extent that he was appointed Commander-in-Chief of the French Army, replacing General Joseph Joffre Dot with his promotion. Nivelle proposed a bold new strategy to break the stalemate on the Western Front. His plan, later known as the Nivelle Offensive, was designed to deliver a swift and decisive victory over the German forces. Nivelle promised that the offensive would break through the German lines within 48 hours, leading to a significant and rapid conclusion to the war. The offensive, which was planned for April 1917, involved a massive coordinated attack by French and British forces along a wide front, particularly focused on the Aisne River and the Chemin des Dames Ridge. Nivelle's strategy relied heavily on the use of overwhelming artillery bombardments, followed by rapid infantry assaults. However, there were several critical flaws in the planning and execution of the Nivelle Offensive. The Germans were well aware of the impending attack, thanks to intelligence leaks and reconnaissance, allowing them to fortify their defenses and prepare countermeasures. Additionally, the terrain over which the offensive was to be launched, particularly the Chemin des Dames, was highly advantageous to the Germans, who held the high ground. When the Nivelle Offensive began in April 1917, it quickly turned into a disaster. Despite the enormous scale of the artillery bombardments, the German defenses held firm. French troops, advancing across open ground and under heavy machine gun and artillery fire, suffered staggering casualties. The offensive, far from achieving its promised breakthrough, devolved into another example of the costly attritional warfare that had already characterized much of World War I. Within days, it became clear that the offensive had failed. By May, the French army had sustained nearly 200,000 casualties, with little to show for the effort. The crushing losses and the broken promises of a swift victory led to widespread disillusionment among French soldiers. Morale plummeted and many units began to openly defy orders. This breakdown in discipline culminated in a series of mutinies that spread across the French army, with soldiers refusing to participate in further offensives they saw as futile. The failure of the Nivelle Offensive and the subsequent mutinies spelled the end of Nivelle's military career. In May 1917, just a month after the offensive had begun, Nivelle was removed from his position as commander-in-chief of the French army. He was replaced by General Philippe Pétain, whose first priority was to restore order and morale within the army. Noels' fall from grace was swift and complete. He was reassigned to a relatively obscure post in North Africa, effectively ending his influence on the war. For the remainder of his life, Nivelle remained a controversial figure, with some viewing him as a scapegoat for the broader failures of the French military strategy, while others criticized him for overpromising and underdelivering during the war's most critical phases. Despite the catastrophic failure of the Nivelle Offensive, Robert Nivelle's career should not be judged solely by this one event. His earlier contributions to artillery tactics, particularly his development of the creeping barrage, played a significant role in the success of the French army at Verdun and in other engagements. Nivelle's ability to integrate artillery and infantry operations represented an important evolution in modern warfare, and his tactical innovations continued to influence military strategy in the years that followed. That said, the failure of the Nivelle Offensive left an indelible mark on his legacy. The scale of the losses, combined with the mutinies it provoked, had far-reaching consequences for the French army and the broader war effort. It highlighted the limitations of large-scale offensives in trench warfare and underscored the deep frustrations and fatigue felt by soldiers on the front lines. In the years after the war, historians and military analysts continued to debate Nivelle's role in the events of 1917. Some have argued that he was overly ambitious and failed to appreciate the realities of the battlefield, while others have suggested that the failures were more systemic and reflected the broader challenges faced by the French military leadership at the time. Robert Nivelle remains one of the most complex and controversial figures of World War I. His career was marked by moments of brilliance, particularly at Verdun, where his innovations in artillery tactics helped to secure crucial victories for the French army. However, his overconfidence and the disastrous failure of the Nivelle Offensive cast a long shadow over his legacy, leaving him as a divisive figure in the annals of military history. While Nivelle's ambitions for a quick and decisive victory were never realized, his contributions to the development of modern warfare are undeniable. His tactical innovations, especially in the coordination of artillery and infantry, helped to shape the future of military strategy. Yet, the human cost of his failed offensive serves as a stark reminder of the brutal realities of war and the heavy price of miscalculation. Thank you for watching our video on General Robert Nivelle, a man whose legacy is marked by both innovation and controversy. If you found this exploration of Nivelle's life and military career informative, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Heroes Historia. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Nivelle's role in World War I, so feel free to leave a comment below. Your support helps us continue bringing fascinating historical stories to life. Until next time, keep exploring history with Heroes Historia.